What's going on, Sackdown Podcast? I'm Ray.
I'm Jared.
Welcome to another episode of that Sackdown Podcast.
So today, me and Ray are going to be doing another little mini series within the NBA. So the playoffs are wrapping up. About to have the finals in a couple weeks. So we're gonna rank we're gonna do top 5 for each position of this season. So not of all time, but we're also gonna take in their past couple seasons and just a little bit of their career and kind of how we think they are. So we're gonna be taking in regular season, playoffs, stuff like that. Today we're gonna be doing top 5 point guards and shooting guards, and yeah, I think that's it.
And to clear the air for some people, we're going to consider Ben Simmons a point guard, which most people would. We're going to consider Jimmy Butler shooting guard, not a small forward. Anthony Davis will be a power forward when we do power forward list, and Giannis will be a small forward, and Luka will be a small forward too.
So we're gonna have some honorable mentions. My first honorable mention is John Wall. I really like John Wall. When he was healthy, he was top 6, 7-ish point guard in the league, maybe top 5. He's really good. He's a great playmaker. He's very athletic, kind of like Westbrook. He's a great defender. He's a slasher. He's just one knock on his game. He's not a very good shooter, but obviously he got hurt falling in his house. Super weird injury. But he signed that massive deal. The Warriors got screwed over. So he's my first honorable mention. If he wasn't healthy, he might be in my top 5. We'll never know. And my second honorable mention is Lonzo Ball. Now, this is crazy because I don't like Lonzo and I don't like his dad. But it's clear that he has had an impact on the Lakers when he was in the lineup. He's a really good defender. He's a really good passer. He can't score to save his life. That's basically all he does is just play defense and pass. But the reason why he's my honorable mention is that I didn't really watch the Lakers games like that, but you can tell that when he wasn't healthy, the Lakers weren't. When he got injured, they were worse defensively. They missed that playmaking, and I think that if Lonzo can stay healthy and continue progressing, he might eventually become a top 10, top 15 point guard, but we'll never know.
All right, I'm not even going to bring up the whole Lonzo thing, but I have 3 honorable mentions because I feel like they could all take the cake for the 5th spot, but I just think the 5th player is just a little bit better. So I got Kyle Lowry, Kemba Walker, and CP3, Chris Paul. Kemba's the one I really wanted to put at 5, but I just feel like his team is so bad, so he has so much more room to be able to score a lot more points than other players. I want to see him on a team that actually has some decent players and see if he still puts up those good shooting numbers. He's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I love Kemba. He's an all-star. I want to see him on a good team with a lot more talent around him and see if he could still put up 24 a night. And I don't know how many assists he gets, but I want to see more from him on a better team. So I think a good fit for him would be the Pacers. They really need a point guard. I don't think Darren Collison's a good player. Victor Oladipo would be a good matchup, but that's for another video. CP3, he's just getting old. That's it. And Kyle Lowry.
Don't forget about Chris Paul's injury when he got injured.
He's always hurt. No, he's always hurt. And Kyle Lowry, he's just I don't know. He's a good point guard. He's just not super good at anything in particular. He's a hustler though.
Audio?
Huh?
No, you're good.
Okay.
Oh yeah, just let me before I get to number 5. You're done, right?
Let me just finish on Kyle Lowry.
Okay.
He's a decent shooter. He's not the best, but always makes it to the playoffs on that Raptors team. But he's just not top 5 worthy. Go ahead.
When I say that Lonzo was my honorable mention, I'm not saying he's better than Chris Paul or any of those guys. I'm just saying that for me personally, he was a personal pick for a guy that if they could stay healthy, that he could have impact in the Lakers. Obviously, Kyle Lowry's better, Chris Paul's better, Kemba's better, but this is surprising because I fucking hate Lonzo. But anyways, my number 5 point guard for this year is Kyrie Irving. I know a lot of people like street ballers and street hoopers like Kyrie because he has handles and he's a good scorer, but I'm disappointed with Kyrie this year. For one, he's been a horrible leader this year for the Celtics. He the whole entire year he's been causing controversy throughout the locker room and through the media, and his free agency decision, just he's been handling it so wrong, and I believe it's causing problems with the Celtics. Number 2, the numbers back it up. The Celtics are better with Kyrie off the floor. It's just the way they run the offense is better. The young guys seem to play better without Kyrie. He's been horrible in this year's playoffs. He's been so bad. His series against the Bucks, I expect the Boston to win that series because I thought Boston was going to be playing better as a team, because I believe that if Boston can play up to their potential, they can be a finals team because they have a really good squad on paper. But I think it comes down to Kyrie. He's not a very good leader, but on the positive, he's still Kyrie. He's still a really good scorer. He's still an above average playmaker, an above average defender. He still can put a guy on a mixtape. He's just, for me, he took a step back from last year. I had him at I believe 2 or 3, and he's regressed for me. And if I'm any team looking to sign Kyrie, I'm being very cautious when I'm signing him.
My number 5 point guard was Ben Simmons. I'm gonna just make it like super clean and fast. Ben Simmons is he's a good point guard. He dishes it out to the open man. He can slash to the paint. No one could guard him when he gets into the paint. Maybe like a center, but he just obviously needs to work on that shot. He needs to become a true leader, but he's still young. But he's my number 5 point guard. Number 4, I'll keep it simple, fast. My number 4 point guard was Kyrie. Same reasons that you said. I think ever since he's joined the Celtics, he's kind of his career has been on like backtrack. Injured last year, this year, just didn't play at the same level, especially in the playoffs. I still think he's a great, talented point guard, but until he could go back to his Cavs, Kyrie, he's going to be number 4 for me.
The only reason why I can't put Ben Simmons top 5 is because he's just not a threat outside from 10 feet, basically. And but if he gets a jump shot, Jesus Christ. Number 4, I have Russell Westbrook. So I've been known to be a Westbrook hater because I point out what's true. I guess I'm a hater. Keep it simple. His regular season drop off to his playoff drop off is ridiculous. He's a horrible shooter. He's got horrible decision making. He's very inefficient. He's an overrated passer in my opinion. His MVP season was a product of him being the only player. Although it was a great season, and I'll touch up on that topic later. But on the bright side, he's a really good rebounder for his position. He's very athletic. He's a great dunker. He can play defense when he's trying. I just can't really. For me, he's just a player that you can't really build a championship team around, and he can't be your best player or your leader on a finals team. And for a guy who wins MVP to play that poorly in the playoffs these last couple of years, it's horrible. So I have him at 4.
My number 3 point guard is Damian Lillard. I think he probably would have been number 4 or maybe even 5, but he's had a good playoffs. Obviously, he's led to the Blazers, the Western Conference. But I think this playoff series, he's been a little overrated. He's not the same tenacious scorer that he's been in the regular season. This playoffs, he's been passing a lot more, but he's still getting a lot of rebounds. But I just want to see him like take over games, which I just haven't seen him. He hasn't done that yet, especially against the Warriors. They're about to get bounced out. They're about to get swept. But you love Lillard, great player, super super underrated. Deserves to be an All NBA player every year. but he's my number 3 guy. Gotta love Damian, bro, from Oakland.
I'm gonna get to Damian Lillard in a second. My number 3 pick is actually Kemba Walker. This one's shocking because I know if I talk to anybody, they'll tell me I'm crazy for putting Walker in my top 5, especially over guys like Kyrie and Westbrook. But Kemba Walker this year, the argument that he put up 26 plus points per game, around 5-6 assists, stuff like that. The argument that because he plays on a team where he's the number 1 option and he has free control to do whatever he wants is I don't like that argument. If anything, what it tells me is how much better he is. If teams understand that Kemba is the only threat offensively, they can triple team him, double team him, trap him, play zone on him, and he can still put up those stats. The one thing I will say about Damian Lillard and why he's been playing so poorly this series against Golden State, if you remember, he played fantastic against OKC. Then he started to drop off against the Nuggets, and then this year he's having a horrible playoff against the Golden State. I think that's because people are starting to realize that Dame and CJ are the only threats the Blazers have, and Dame is getting trapped. He's getting double teamed. He's getting triple teamed. So I don't really blame that on Dame. But back to Kemba, he is always he's a great scorer. He's a really good passer. He's actually a pretty good defender if you actually watch him play. He's kind of like Curry. He's not a naturally gifted defender, but he tries. The only thing about him that I can't really say is that he can't lead his team to the playoffs, and that's why he will always be in that lower tier of point guards. But if Kemba can get teammates that are good, I promise you his team will go probably second round, maybe conference finals, because I believe Kemba is really good, and that's his ceiling is a lot higher than people think.
Yeah, I mean, I like Kemba. Just like you said, I want to see him play on a good team and see what he does. Number 2, you probably already know, Jared. I've had a change of heart. I guess I could shout out David for this. I've been thinking about it, and I can't put Westbrook out of the top 2 because he's won an MVP. You might have said it's a little overrated MVP, but it's still an MVP. I haven't seen Lillard get even close to MVP. Kyrie hasn't won an MVP. Nobody else other than my number 1 point guard has won an MVP. He won it over James Harden. He might inflate his stats a little bit, but he's such an athlete, dude. He's crazy. I mean, I love watching Westbrook play. And then it's just really he makes it to the playoffs each year. He always has a good team, so it's unfair to use the playoff argument for him. But rebounds, assists, he gets them all. They might be a little inflated, like I said. You know, he might wait and then pass the ball, or he might let the centers box him out. But I put a guy out of the top 2 when he's won an MVP and no one else has, and he still plays at an elite level. It just next year is really the make or break season for Westbrook. If he doesn't make it out of the first round next year, or if he has a bad season, then he might go lower. But Westbrook's number 2 for me. I'm assuming Damian Lillard's number 2 for you.
Before I get into okay, so what you're saying is you think Westbrook is the second best point guard this season, correct? This season.
We already said we're taking into account past seasons overall.
Yeah. Okay. And you also said it's unfair to use the playoff argument, right? Isn't that what you said?
Well, I said for his case because he always has a good team. That's why I said wait till next year, and if he doesn't make the playoffs or if he doesn't go out of the first round, then I might devalue his accolades.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, well, my number 2 is Damian Lillard. So the thing about Westbrook and Lillard that you have to understand is that Westbrook has played with at least an MVP caliber player for almost his whole entire career. He's played with Kevin Durant. He's played with Paul George. He's played with James Harden, although Harden was not an MVP caliber player. Harden was still a hell of a sixth man. He played with great players, Serge Ibaka, Reggie Jackson, Steven Adams, who people think that is a bum, who's actually a really good center. He's played with Dennis Schroeder, who is a great off the bench. So the playoff argument it is fair. It is fair to judge him. It is fair to have him judge on the fact that he lost to a rookie and a rookie last year with the Jazz in the first round. It is fair to judge him off of a loss where they only won 1 game against a Portland Trail Blazers team with and what people decided to be zero. Damian Lillard was not on the MVP radar. McCollum was not on the MVP radar, but Paul George was. So to have an MVP player on your team and to lose and only win one game, that's no. So that's my thing. Two, Damian Lillard is a much better playoff performer than Westbrook. Regular season, he averaged 25. Playoffs, he averaged 26. Regular season, he had 7 assists. Playoffs, he had 6. He had to shoot the ball more. His effective field goal percentage, which I believe to be a very important stat, went from 5.22 to .577. His 3-point percentage went up. So throughout his whole entire career, he's elevated his play in the playoffs every single year. The only thing that I will say that gives Westbrook a little bit of an advantage is that the fact that he's been playing at an elite level longer than Lillard. The reason I just can't, I don't understand what people see in Westbrook that makes him an MVP worthy player. In my opinion, I don't think he's even on past MVP's level. He's not on Harden's level. He's not on Steph's level. He's not on LeBron's level. His value to me is lower than people think. I mean, if you take him off the Thunder, you take Westbrook off, or excuse me, you take Dame off the Blazers are barely a playoff team. So that's just the way I see it. I just see Dame. He's more clutch. He's a better shooter. I would take, if I was starting a team right now, I'd pick Dame Lillard over Westbrook any day.
Okay. Next five for who our number ones are. We're not going to argue about it. It's Steph, multiple-time MVP, best shooter of all time. I don't think we really have to make an argument for it. When Kevin Durant's off the court, look at what he's doing. He's putting up 36 a night. He's going off. Steph might be the best point guard of all time when it's all been done. We both said it. He's obviously the number one point guard. So.
All right. Well, there's no need to talk about Curry because he's my number one pick too. I'm not even going to talk about him. So let's go to our shooting guards.
Honorable mention. Honorable mentions. Do
you want to go?
I'll go first for the honorable mentions. My honorable mentions are Lou Williams and Devin Booker. Lou Williams, I mean, I wanted to put him in the top 5, but I just couldn't. But he led the Clippers to 2 wins against the Warriors. That's 2 more wins than the Blazers have gotten, and that's the same that the Rockets got. Pretty impressive. He's probably the greatest 6-man. Maybe him, Ginobili.
He is. He is the greatest 6-man. He is the greatest 6-man.
And, he takes over games with the shooting. I love him. I love that he's a Clipper. One of my favorite players on the Clippers right now. The fact that he's a 6-man is the only reason why I can't put him at top 5. If he was a starter, maybe. And then my other honorable mention is Devin Booker. I love Devin Booker. He's such a good player. If the Suns, oh my God, I really wanted the Suns to get the 2nd pick because him and John Morant would have been
insane.
That would have been the funnest team to watch. And DeAndre Ayton, TJ Warren. But they can still pick up a good point guard, but I'll talk about that later. He's a great shooter, but he's an underrated passer. He averages about 8 assists, I think, close to 8, 6, 7, 8. Love Devin Booker. So young. Definitely going to be in my top 5 in a couple of years. I think next year, if they don't make it to the playoffs, he's got to ask for a trade. He's got to. His talent is being wasted on the Suns. Oh, and DeAndre Ayton looks like he's 40 years old.
Yeah, my honorable mention, I have Booker there too. I think give me one more year, I think Booker will be a top 5 shooting guard. I'm not even talking about Booker. Y'all know how much I love Booker. And my second one is what's his name? I'm blanking. Oh my God, I'm blanking. Oh, DeMar DeRozan. He's a super hard player to rank. The way I see DeMar DeRozan, I see him as a guy who's stuck in the wrong era. He's a really good mid-range shooter. I think if he played in the 90s, I think he'd actually be a hooper. DeMar DeRozan is a really, really good player. I thought that him playing under Greg Popovich would have made him a better player than what he is. He hasn't really changed much, but huh?
Yeah, he had a better season, and he played better in the playoffs.
Yeah, but
I get.
He didn't take over like he should have. All right, my number 5, I want to go because I'm excited. I got CJ McCollum at 5. Oh my God, CJ McCollum to me is he's a hooper. I only put him at 5 because he has been so good in these playoffs. I mean, he has been really good. His takeover game against the Nuggets in Game 7, his amazing series against the Thunder. He's playing pretty good against the Warriors. He's been Portland's leading scorer these last 2 playoffs series, over Lillard actually. He is honestly, I think Booker is better than CJ McCollum, but I'm only putting McCollum in here because he has had playoff success, somewhat. He's a walking bucket. I've seen this guy can score over anybody. He's just reason why he's 5 for me is that he can only score. He can't really do anything else. He can't pass, defend, play make. So this one is more of a recency pick. Career wise, McCollum hasn't really done anything, but this one for me is just for this year. I have CJ at 5.
Before I get to my number 5, I like CJ, but I just think he hasn't proven himself enough. He's been playing really good in the playoffs. He's never been an all-star. He didn't have the best regular season, so that's why he's not in my top 5 or honorable mentions. But hopefully he could translate his game from the playoffs this year to regular season next year, become an all-star. Definitely will be in my top 5. Number 5, I got DeRozan. Um, just what you said. He's such a hard player because he's never gonna be like a superstar, but he's always an all-star. But he he's he's a mid-range shooter. He's got crazy bounce. He can make crazy dunks. I think he's a little underrated. I think people think he's just complete trash, which I don't think is true. He's definitely a top 5 shooting guard in my opinion. If he could just adapt a better 3-point shooter and become more of a leader, I think I'll put him up a little bit. But DeMar DeRozan's number 5. I think most people could agree on that.
See, it's just I don't know. I don't think DeMar DeRozan's game translates that good in today's NBA, which is why I have him at honorable mention. Number four, I have Bradley Beal.
Me too.
I have Bradley Beal number 4. He honestly, for me, had a bounce back season. Sorry, not bounce back, but kind of like a breakout / improvement season. He's carried the Wizards. I know they're honestly one of the worst ran organizations in modern sports.
Yeah.
But he's done a great job keeping them afloat at around 24, 25 points per game. He made the All-Star. He's a great on-ball defender. He's a really good shooter. He excuse me. He's a pretty good playmaker too. Bradley Beal's kind of a boring pick. I mean, what else is there to really say? He's an excellent two-way shooting guard. I think if he had a better team and maybe improve his game a little bit more, he hit the top 3 maybe. But I have Beal at 4.
I think the rest of our list for the shooting guards is actually going to be the same. But I have Bradley Beal at 4 too. He's just an amazing shooter. I hope he goes to the Lakers. I really do.
A good fit.
He's a great scorer, amazing shooter, like I said. His talent's being wasted. But should we just name off the rest? Because I feel like the rest is the same.
Yeah.
Who's your top 3, 2, and 1?
Jimmy Butler, Klay Thompson, James Harden.
Same. I'll start off with Harden. It's obvious. Harden is a superstar. The rest of them are not necessarily superstars. Harden is a top 5 player. The rest of them aren't. Harden is kind of a flopper, but he's so entertaining to watch. One of my favorite players to watch. Deadly shooter. He needs to get over the hump against the Warriors. But he's the one for a reason. Klay Thompson. You can do Klay since you're a Warriors fan.
Yeah. One, I just want to say Harden's is a choker, but Klay Thompson. People need to understand how good Klay Thompson is. Klay Thompson's counting numbers they won't tell the whole story. He's around a 22, 23 point per game. The best top 5 shooter already of all time. The second best shooter in the league right now. Can score 63 points but taking less than 10 dribbles. He is a phenomenal on-ball defender. He's actually got a really good post game. He does all little things you want in a star shooting guard. He's He always guards the best ball handlers on the other team. He always does the dirty work. He makes the right play. When he catches the ball and he can get a shot off, I don't think there's anything that you can do to stop it. It's just I love Clay because he does a little bit of everything, and the stuff that he does really great is so important. And honestly, if I'm Golden State, I'm making it my priority to keep Klay Thompson this summer.
Yeah, I agree with you. Klay Thompson is easily the second best shooting guard. One of my favorite players in the whole league. 6'7" as a shooting guard. He can just guard anywhere. He's super hard to guard as well. And then number 3, Jimmy Butler. One of the best defenders in the league, easily. I think he's kind of underrated when it comes to how good he could just take over a game. Saw it in the regular season. Saw it a little bit in the playoffs. He could take over games. He's a good shooter. He could shoot the 3. He could shoot the mid. He could slash. Really good in transition. Jimmy Butler is just he could fit on any team. That's the kind of guy, except for the Timberwolves. Jimmy Butler's a fun guy to watch. I like him. Hopefully he goes.
Couple like one last things. You're done, right?
Yeah.
One, by the way, I can't tell you how many times Klay Thompson has saved Golden State in Game 6s. By the way, I don't know if people understand that, but Klay Thompson is super clutch. Another thing, people don't talk about Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is a great leader. Jimmy Butler is a great leader. He, to me, was a leader of the Sixers with Joel Embiid, but like the only thing that kind of like worries me about Butler is that he's kind of a locker room problem. To me, he's a little bitchy, but you know where he's came from. I mean, I'm not gonna give him crap for it. So my point guards, Steph, Dame, Kemba, Russell, Kyrie. Shooting guards, Harden, Clay, Jimmy Butler, Beal, and CJ McCollum.
My point guards are Curry, Westbrook, Kyrie, and then Ben Simmons. My shooting guards are Harden, Clay, Butler, Beal, and DeRozan. Honorable mentions for point guards, Chris Paul, Kyle Lowry, Kemba Walker. Honorable mentions for shooting guards, Devin Booker, Lou Williams. That's the video. Go ahead, comment. You're going to disagree with us. Please like and sub, grind with us. And our NFL offseason, we decided to just crap it, throw it away. We liked the idea. We just felt like it was kind of boring, and we felt like you guys weren't going to be too interested in it. And I know you guys love when we do tier lists because you like to argue with us. So we thought this would be perfect. We're gonna do small forwards next, and then we'll do power forwards and centers, and then we might do football. I want to do football, so we'll probably do football.
One more thing. Be sure to look if y'all disagree or agree, tell us why in the comments. Tell us what you think, because this is our basically or what we do is we talk about sports a lot. So tell us why. Don't just be like, oh bro, I hate Kyrie. Oh, I hate Steph. He's a bum. Tell us why. All right. Thank you guys for watching.
One more thing before we end this podcast. We've been getting a lot of criticism for our videos, which is understandable. You know, we're doing our videos on Skype right now, but we just picked up a camera and we plan on doing a lot more in real life podcasts where we meet up. They're going to be a lot more smooth. We'll be able to edit them. And so just like we always say, grind with us, wait for us. Big things coming in the summer of 2019 for our YouTube channel. But leave a comment. Put your list in the comment section. Tell us who you think are the top 5. Small forwards are coming up next. See you later, Sacktown.
See you guys. Cool.